So here we are, sharing secrets of the soil with me, your host, Regen Ray. Hello soil lovers, Regen Ray here, and welcome to another very special on-location episode of Secrets of the Soil. Today you're going to be joined by multiple guests because I'm here at the Royal Easter Show in Sydney. It is a huge venue. There is an amazing amount of people. Some are here for the rides, others for the food, but I am in the Ag Discovery Pavilion where you're going to be able to see and meet some of the amazing products that are happening here in tech, all about soil. We are literally podcasting on a desk made out of hemp. So one of our guests today is going to be talking all about the advancements of hemp, whether it be by wooden board or bricks, and I'm really excited to share all the amazing stuff. I want to thank Happy Soils for having me here on the stand today, their stand, when we'll meet the owners and runners and the creators of this amazing space in just a minute. So this is going to be a bit of a different format. We're going to be chopping and changing with lots of different guests. Enjoy the show. I'm Regen Ray, and I'm really excited to have you come along and be on location at this amazing Ag Discovery Pavilion. Lovers, we've got another guest with us here today at the Ag Discovery Pavilion. You may have seen a video that I did with Kim from Saveful. It's an app that helps you reduce your waste and cook delicious meals. Kim, can you tell us a little bit about the app that you've been developing for years now?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been 3 years and we launched in Australia in November of last year. So basically, we recognise the huge amount of food waste that occurs, particularly in our home, and globally 61% of all food waste actually happens at home.
Right.
So it is crazy. So here in Australia, 1 in 5 shopping bags that we buy end up in the rubbish bin, and the average Aussie family spends between $2,700 and $3,000 every single year with food that we put in the rubbish bin. So that's a lot of money. And we know 80% of Aussies are feeling the cost of living pressures right now, yet 70% of everything that goes into the rubbish bin is still perfectly edible. So we've developed an amazing new app that is incredibly user-friendly, and it enables you to tell us what you have in your fridge, freezer or pantry, and from that we suggest lots of different meal options, which then you can personalize. So it's not like a traditional recipe app, which is quite rigid. It's incredibly flexible, so you can substitute things in and out that you have at home.
Yeah, soil lovers, I've been watching the demo and seeing you showcase it to other people. I downloaded the app myself as I discovered it, and I love the ability that you can swap the protein or, want something a bit more spicy, and the recipe's dynamically changing based on your flavor, but then also what's left in your fridge. So that way you get to use everything up, which I think, waste plays a big part even in the greenhouse gas emissions of, that everyone, keeps, I guess, blaming the cattle. And, food waste that goes through our bin system that goes into landfill, huge amounts of methane. So I think, that one tomato that you might think, does one tomato really make a difference?
It does. So, you're talking about food waste and greenhouse gas. So if food waste were a country, it would be the third largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world behind China and the US.
Crazy.
So if we all just save that one tomato every week, or half a kilogram or a few hundred grams every single week, then it makes a big difference, and we can all impact, and we're all empowered to do something within our own home.
Yeah, I think it's those micro decisions and knowing that as many coming together, we can play a big part in that. The app is also, got some sponsors and there's some tips in there. How does that work, and how have you gotten the app to where it is today? I know you've got some of your corporate sponsors here today as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of blood, sweat and many tears in this journey to bring the app to market.
Good entrepreneurship.
Exactly, the roller coaster ride that is entrepreneurship. But we were really passionate about this. So we have been able and lucky enough to get the support of some of amazing Australian corporate partners who are as committed as we are to help Australian families who are doing it tough and put food on their table. So we're here at the Royal Sydney Show because of the generous support of Rabobank, who are one of our sponsors. We also are working with organisations like Bega and Birdseye and Goodman Fielder and Nestle. And next month within Saveful, you'll be able to enter your Qantas frequent flyer number and start earning your green leaf tier when you complete certain actions. So Qantas are a big supporter of ours as well. And it's through their kind support and generosity that we are able to offer this free for every single Australian family.
Fantastic. I think it's great. And I think it's also getting people back into the kitchen, experimenting with produce that maybe they don't know how to really cook, or, understanding that this flavour can mix with that flavour, which I think is an art that we've also lost in the kitchen. Everything's very bland and simple, or out of a can.
Absolutely. And, the biggest pain in the neck question that we all answer or have to answer every single day, and research tells us we spend about 20 minutes a day thinking about, is what's for dinner tonight.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
It drives me crazy. So Saveful helps you answer that question and takes that pain away, because you can just tell us what you've got in your fridge, freezer and pantry, and we'll tell you all the things, delicious things that you can have for dinner tonight.
That's awesome. I kind of picture even people that maybe buy directly from the farmer or go to farmers markets, they get a box, and each box is a bit different, so you can hop into the app, what's come in your box that week or that fortnight, or what you've picked up at the farmers market, and kind of, experiment with some of the recipes of how to turn that box of goodies into, sustainable food.
Absolutely. And there is a seasonality section within Saveful as well, because we're really trying to educate Australians to eat seasonally, support Australian farmers as well. If it's in season, it's often in abundance, which means it's often cheaper. So how do you use and buy those cheap ingredients that normally perhaps you wouldn't try because they're not your flavour, but we give you lots of tips and hacks so that you can blend it into other foods, so you can cost effectively and nutritiously put food on your family's table.
Yeah, amazing. And I know that you are also part of another organisation, Thankful for Farmers.
That's right.
And a lot of the soil lovers and the Secrets of Soil, listeners may know that brand. Tell us a little bit about Thankful for Farmers and how the bridge happens.
Yeah, so Thankful for Farmers, we launched in Australia in 2019. And back in 2019, which feels like a lifetime ago now, but Australia was suffering that worst drought, which was followed pretty quickly by bushfires and in some instances floods. So we created Thankful for Farmers to really change the narrative around farming and agriculture in this country, because at the time, the narrative was one of sympathy. Poor farmers need our help and charity. And whilst producers were enormously appreciative of the efforts to help them, the narrative that they really wanted was one of value and recognition.
Yeah.
And a reminder to all Australians that every single day, at least 3 times a day, we need a farmer. And farmers are not only frontline of food supply chains, but they're frontline environmentalists as custodians of their land.
Yeah.
And through their farming practices can help reverse the impact of climate change. So we launched Thankful for Farmers at the end of 2019 with a key focus on 3 key areas. One is the farm. So how can we help the farm practice more climate smart agricultural practices? The second is the farmer. How can we support the health and well-being of our farmers so we have future generations of farmers? And the third is the farming community, because if our regional and rural communities aren't thriving, our agricultural sector can't thrive either.
Yeah.
So to date, through Thankful for Farmers, we've helped to fund a drought resilience program. We've helped fund the Queensland Royal Flying Doctor Service to create a book called Mental Health and Wellbeing on the Land. We've created a documentary called Thankful for Soil, which is all about celebrating the incredible men and women who are doing amazing things to regenerate the land and replenish the soil, and a real celebration of their work. We've helped fund a program to support regional and rural mums. We have also done a really important piece of research with the National Centre for Farmers Health and Deakin University to understand the correlation between a farmer's health and well-being and their propensity to practice climate smart agriculture. So if a farmer looks after his own health or her own health, are they more likely to want to look after the land, as an example? And we have developed pilot programs to create closed-loop circular solutions as well to help reduce farm gate food waste, but also to return some of that produce back to farm in the form of animal food or soil food. So through all of that work, from farm gate to dinner plate, is when we really recognise the huge amount of food waste that occurs throughout the supply chain, and understanding that 61% globally of that food waste occurs in our home. We knew we had to do something about it. So we spent 3 years researching, understanding consumer behaviour, consumer insights to really shape Saveful so that we could launch. And we only launched last November. Amazing. And already we have over 11,000 people using the app, and we'd love to see every Australian using this app, because we want every Australian to be saving money rather than putting it into the rubbish bin.
Yeah, let's get it a household name and be like, what's on your Saveful tonight?
Exactly.
What's your Saveful giving you for dinner? Oh, mine's doing this and yours is doing that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what's on Netflix. What's on your Saveful?
Exactly. And, we're constantly adding new features to the app as well. So from next month, you'll be able to build your own Saveful community where you can invite your family, your school, your workplace, and you collectively can see the impact and the action that you're having to save food and save money.
So great. You're ticking all the boxes. I love the fact that you've got this organization that's focused on farmers and that discussion that needs to be had, but then also this other side of consumer behavior and consumer influence, because I think as I've traveled the country recently, there is a big disconnect between the way the farmers produce their food, thinking that people nowadays have very large freezers and can store half a cow, which is not so necessarily, and this consumers that are buying just in time produce, what's for dinner tonight? Let's go buy the produce. Oh, it's run out, panic, McDonald's it is, it's like they're, having the way where we can just get there and go, oh, there's no beef, slide that out, let's put chicken. Oh, the recipe's now updated. What an amazing solution to help people in the aisle and then also nurturing the relationships with farmers back in the field. So
absolutely, and really to that exact point, trying to bridge the gap from farm gate to dinner plate. So we all know who's growing our food for us and how it's growing. And I think if we understand that, we have a true sense of value of just how precious that food is, and it's way too good to be going to waste. And it's much better to be going in our tummies than in the bin.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kim, and for all the work that you're doing. We're thankful for farmers and Saveful. It's great to see the amount of interest that you've had at your stand, and thank you for sitting down and sharing your story and your inspiration to the soil lovers on the podcast.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the awesome work that you're doing as well. We're incredibly thankful that so many passionate people doing great things, so thank you.
All about saving soils. Well, there you go, soil lovers. Make sure you click on the links around the video and in the description. If you want to save money and feel full tonight, then Saveful is the app for you. So make sure you download it and play around. It's free, no risk, and full of deliciousness. I'll see you on the next one. All right, soil lovers, we are now joined by another guest here at the Ag Discovery Pavilion at the Royal Easter Show. Colin Steddy is from Hemp Inside, and if you're on the video, which I recommend, you'll see that I'm holding a brick made out of hemp concrete, which they call hempcrete.
Hempcrete, that's it.
Welcome, Colin. Thanks for coming on and chatting to us today. Tell us a little bit about your product and how it's going to change the world of building.
7 years ago, I did a building course with a guy in Western Australia by the name of Ilya Saba. He looked at hempcrete as everyone calls hempcrete in the world today. So he tried that system. He tried infill panels. He tried bigger bricks. He tried small panels. Ilya has spent more time and money on anyone I've seen anywhere in the world. And the big thing is, to make it short and sweet, we believe that when we test this brick, we may have the first load-bearing hemp brick in the world, which could be a game changer because we can actually make this brick cheaper than a clay brick. It is lighter than a clay brick.
It is super light.
And we will have very good thermal qualities. And we put a lighter brick with better thermal qualities on the inside so we could actually make a more sustainable, cooler house.
Excellent.
When you build out of the standard hempcrete, it costs you a bit more money, but you will not need an air conditioner or a heater in your house. It stays between 18 and 22 degrees, as all the people that are telling me that live in these houses.
Yeah, so from a thermal principle point of view, and I've even seen you show me videos of holding blow torches to this stuff and it just does not ignite, even though it's got hemp particles in it. It holds high temperature, and then seconds after it's cooled down from glowing, you're literally picking up the piece. You wouldn't, dare to do that with wood and other building materials. So what makes it so fire resistant and,
It's a mixture of, there's a lot of air in there, but in the hempcrete, you've got the lime, and lime doesn't burn. And I don't know exactly what happens, but there's something that happens in there that it just won't hold the heat.
Yeah.
As you said, I've done these trials back 6 or 7 or 8 years ago because I'm one of those people that you tell me something, I've got to go and check it and see it and feel it with my own hands.
Yeah, I'm the same. You've got to go tinker with it and experiment and push it to its limits. And so hemp's getting, a lot of traction at the moment from medicinal point of view and now as a building material. But you do a lot of other products as well. I noticed you've got like a hemp sheeting for weed matting. But your business is called Hemp Inside because as long as it's got hemp inside it, you're curious to play around with it. What are some of the other products?
As long as it's got hemp and it's good for our environment, that's what I'm after. In 2005, I got involved in hemp as being a broadacre sheep farmer or grain farmer, and I started to look at biology and soils, human health, health of the environment, and health of our plants. I work with Peter Andrews with NSF. I go and check everything out. And it's all about a sustainable future and the health of our environment and the health of our children. And building our immune systems so that we are strong and healthy.
Yeah.
And any product that is made out of hemp, I will help promote. People go to me, Colin, you're promoting a building product out of hemp lime, but here you are helping promote some guys that make building materials that are actually in opposition to you. And I go, no, they're not in opposition. Because every time someone sees something made of hemp, they go, hemp. They look at hemp and then they go, oh, we can make it out of this, or we can make it out of this, or we can go weed matting out of hemp. Wow, we can grow our weed matting. We can grow our home.
Yeah.
We can do this. We can replace hemp with plastic. There's so many things. What everyone in the hemp industry needs to start to do is work together. Could be a really big industry. Unfortunately, a little bit of a downside in the hemp industry is people go, I want it all. It is so big that so many people can get in, live a good life, make a profit. As a farmer, I want to see the farmer that grows it be profitable and build healthy soil.
And that's what got me interested in this and very excited to chat to you and some of the other hemp providers is the fact that it's a great plant and crop to grow on a farm for soil health. It grows in 100 days from seed to harvest. How are you experimenting with like the soil side of hemp on your farms and others you're working with?
Well, people will say to me, oh, Colin, where are you growing? And I said, well, until this year, I haven't grown for 3 years because there hasn't been a market. We're at that stage at the moment that the market's going to happen. I put in a trial this year where I've got 8 hectares in, a half a hectare strip all the way from one end of the paddock to the other end of the paddock doesn't have the Happy Soils biological products in it. So I'm doing a trial for myself. There's a trial down in Victoria where they showed amazing results using this product.
Yeah. And what are some of those results that you're seeing?
Some of the results, I didn't go down and look at it because I was up there. But what I've heard is they went down there and they had a group of scientists and bureaucrats and PhD people down there looking at it. And normally what happens is when you get these all sorts of people come and look, they go, yeah, I know everything. I know, we know the soil, we know this, we know that. They came out and the guys said that they stayed there with full interest for the 2 hours, and a lot of them stayed for the next hour asking questions about, wow. On one day they went out and checked the height of the cramp. They went back 5 days later and had grown 77 centimetres in 5 days.
Wow. Yeah, it's such a fast-growing plant. I am surprised we've snoozed on it for so long because, if we do a lot of stuff I hear about and see, it just ticks a lot of the boxes.
There's a lot of people doing a lot of great work. Clara Marosevsky from Hemp Masonry is actually really working diligently to try and get the hemp building codes sorted out. There's guys all over Australia that are doing great work with tilt-up panels and bricks and housing. We've got to bring all these people together. They've just had a task force set up in New South Wales to look at hemp. Jeremy Buckingham from the Cameras Party has actually promoted this and got it up and going. Even though it's industrial hemp, he goes, yes, we've got to keep the two apart, but he is 100% supporting the hemp industry. He wants to move the logging industry so we don't chop down as many forests and actually get farmers to grow our timbers and our wood.
Yeah.
There've been a hemp inquiry in Victoria that's opening up a lot of doors as well. So I think we're at the cusp with what HexCore are doing here with their house that they just burnt the other day that didn't burn.
Yeah, that was great to see.
It is a massive thing. They've got shipping pallets they're doing. I think we're on the cusp of something in the next couple of years with the help of our government, Jeremy Buckingham in particular in New South Wales, and the promotion that he's going to offer. There's a lot of avenues where actually hemp is a very sustainable and is looking after 17, 18 years the future for hemp is looking brighter than it's ever been from my point of view.
Yeah, that's great. I know a lot of people have come on the stand and said, that, I've got a hemp bit of clothing. And so people know that hemp has been and is used in all different types of fiber. And I think it's interesting that you talk about the pallet as well, because I think we may need to get traction with hemp on like a logistical product, and people can start seeing it in application. And then people build up the confidence, or the regulation changes for building. And the fire test is one that's really advanced that.
And if we look at products going forward, when they make the hemp particle board, it has no formaldehyde glue. The cabinet maker that actually made the furniture that we're sitting on today said it was great. He didn't have to wear a mask for the formaldehyde glue.
Wow.
And when he was sawing it, there was not a lot of dust in the air. And actually, the smell of it smelt like he was working out in a farm paddock.
Wow.
He just loved the environment working with it.
What an earthy environment too.
And that's the earthy environment.
Yeah.
He was just excited by it.
Yeah, that's great. And that I'm pretty sure that glue has been banned in Europe, and we still use it.
The formaldehyde, I believe you're correct, yes.
Yeah, and I don't know how to pronounce it, so I avoided using the word, but it off-gases for years from what I understand. You build cabinets, and people who will say building caravans or tiny homes, that leach of the off-gassing is toxic for years.
And it's all of a sudden, when people buy a new car, they say, I love that new car smell. That's actually the formaldehyde or the toxins coming out of the plastic and the glues that are in the car.
Wow, that's crazy. There you go. Well, I think this is, a real big step in the right direction. I've seen you non-stop talking to people here at the show, which I think is really exciting for people to interact and just plant that seed. Some people might never use this product, but they might start getting furniture with hemp, and they'll be like, I saw that at the show in 2024. So I think we definitely...
And it's about spreading the education and the words. I have a little bit of stalk that I carry with me.
Yeah.
When the students come around, I pass it to them and I said, do you know what this is? And they go, no. I said, it's a listening stick. My wife holds a talking stick up to me and said, Colin, be quiet. So I turned it around like I do most things, and then I tell them about the plant. I put that seed in the ground. If I get the biology in my soil right, it will grow to 5 to 6 metres in 120 days. The farmer can harvest it, we can turn it into wood, and virtually within 200 days from planting, we can actually grow a house.
Yeah, that's
that
crazy.
People can move into.
Yet forestry, takes 18 years or something like that.
And then if you look at the building industry at the moment, the shortage, because unfortunately what our governments have done is pushed all our manufacturing overseas. To build a house, we have to import a lot of stuff. We want to bring manufacturing back into Australia. We want to move it back into the country so we don't move all the people into residential areas. We spread them out, and we actually go back to living a lifestyle instead of living in a box.
Yeah, love that. Well, thank you, Colin, so much for sharing all that. I can't wait to see this product unfold, and you're being a great champion of that in the early days. And you've been tinkering with this for a long time, so I think it's important that people like yourself are tinkering in the shed and doing tests, and you've purchased machinery from overseas to help play around with this. And I think that's the innovation and some of the I call it the tinkering in the shed that we've lost. It's all now about what's happening in science labs that are controlled environment and sterile, but that's not how nature works. So it's good to see you tinkering in your sheds.
That's not how nature works. I am a scientist and I'm a health professional because I deal with a plant that's a herb. And why am I a scientist? Because the first step in science is observation.
Yeah.
I do it, I watch what changes, and I go, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
And they tell me that if it's got to be more than 15% change to observe it, you should see some of the stuff that I'm seeing now. It is mind-blowing. I thought I knew a fair bit when I turned 45 and 50. I ain't touched it. I just keep learning so much every day. I even get Peter Andrews ringing me, who was 82. Colin, you've got to come down. I've just seen this. This exciting little child he is.
Yeah.
So we never ever stop learning.
That's it.
And I'll tell you this, if you think you know it all, you become an oxymoron.
Yeah. There you go.
Because there's so much more to learn that we just don't know about hemp and our environment and biology.
Yeah, love that. Well, there you go, soil lovers. Nice thought for you to think about. Stay curious, keep, scratching the surface, digging deeper into soil, as we all love doing at the Secrets of the Soil podcast. So, yeah, and if you're coming down to the show, make sure you pop in to the stand and have a chat about all things soil related and hemp.
Glad to talk to anyone.
Excellent. Thanks. All Colin's details will be around the videos. He's got some great, amazing videos on his LinkedIn as well. He'll show. Is that where all the videos for the firework?
I've got some on LinkedIn there, and Andrew's got a lot down there, and I've just started the Aussie Hemp Insider.
Yep. Awesome.
Because they said, you're doing this, you've got to get on Instagram, Colin. So I had to get somebody to help me set it up.
That's okay. As long as you publish the content, it doesn't matter who set it up. Well, there you go. Check out the work that you're doing. It's great for the environment and for the planet and humanity in the future. I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Thank you very much for letting me spread my word and my story.
No worries. We'll see you soon.
Cheers. Thank you.
Soil lovers, welcome back. I've got Duncan here with me, Head of Education. This is really cool because education is near and dear to my heart. This is why I started the podcast, to bridge the gap between, what's happening out on the paddocks, what's happening in the soil, and then, the ears are the closest thing to our mind and the paddock in our brains. And so can you share a little bit about what's happening in the classroom when it comes to ag and soil and getting, kids' hands dirty?
Yeah, well, soil underpins agriculture, so that's the message that we always start with our programs, and especially in regards to livestock, because sometimes students, when they're learning about livestock, can distance themselves from the importance of soil. But we'll then explore with the students about what a lot of the diet is of the livestock. And then some of them will say, some of them are actually, provided by feedlots. I say, okay, well, what's in that feed from feedlots? There's cottonseed, isn't there? Cottonseed, or the growth of cotton, actually relies on healthy soils. Yeah. But the other main thing that, and we've actually, I can't divulge which university it is, but there's a great University of Sydney, in Sydney, I should say, so that is actually looking at mandating as part of its nutritional course, its health and medicine, and also through its sports science, that they have to do a component of their degree. Now, the reason for that is linked towards soil, because we know that the soil health directly correlates with the nutritional value in their food. And when we teach this to students, you can see their jaw drop in regards to how important soil is, both in their leafy vegetables and fruits, but also how it relates to their livestock as well.
Yeah, that's a word that I've been hearing a lot, is this One Health movement. So soil health, plant health, animal health, human health, gut health, it's all interconnected, and we got to, I guess, stop looking at them in silos and think that the human is disconnected from the soil. And what you just said there as well, you think cattle, doesn't really matter, are they connected to soil? But what the grain or the grass that they're eating, what did that eat through its soil profile?
Absolutely. And even if you flip it on the other side as well, when we actually look at regenerative agriculture, that involves rotational grazing.
Yeah.
So the livestock actually give back to the soil as well.
Yes.
So we're looking at those processes as well, of the importance of rotational grazing, how the animals actually help our soil. But a lot of the students at the moment, they're concerned that there's actually a condition, it's not a diagnosis at the moment, called eco-anxiety.
Yes.
So the statistic that comes out of the United Kingdom at the moment is that nearly 60% of health professionals that are engaged with student mental health are dealing with students who have conditions of eco-anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's important that we give them that message of hope. And when you actually read or know of the statistic that 75% of the Earth's carbon currently is stored in the soil, we then really underpin that soil is the answer, but it's also the hope that we have for our future as well.
You're speaking my language. It's regenerative agriculture and soil health is all about, and really making that common knowledge. And I love the documentaries that have been playing, the content, the conversations that are happening here. You can see the consumers are starting to ask better questions. There's apps being developed to help people make better, decisions in the kitchen, links to the farmer, what's seasonal, what's growing, and that's really exciting. And I think it starts in the classroom. So I think, getting people curious, and these are going to become our thought leaders and, our innovators in the next 10 to 20 years.
And especially for them to be advocates. So we're currently, working with the government on the big question of how can we encourage farmers to adapt more sustainable practices. And look, we're apolitical, so we represent all farmers.
Yeah.
And we're not telling that regenerative agriculture is the only way, but what we want to do is to start the discussion on what is more sustainable, but what is also best practice. And a lot of the recent statistics that are coming out at the moment, such as the gentleman who provides our Angus beef for our Angus meat pies, he is the first farmer in New South Wales to be carbon neutral.
Yeah.
Now, he was able to achieve that, also increase his profits by looking at regenerative practices and matching soil types to his grass types, which has now benefited the quality of his beef. Now, the great thing I really enjoy about Robert McKenzie is that he started off initially as a bit of a skeptic towards regenerative agriculture.
Most do.
Yep. And once he was asking some questions and exploring, he's now able to share what is a fascinating kind of case study. But the most important thing that farmers want to hear is that it's also profitable as well.
Yeah.
There's a big myth out there that all these, regenerative practices and sustainable practices will send you broke or not get you as many margins. But a lot of case studies, and if anyone's doubting me that's listening to this, I will show you the reports and the statistics that the majority of farmers that we're dealing with are showing an increase in the quality of their produce, but also in profit.
Yeah, amazing. And especially when we can reduce the input costs. And also a lot of farmers don't bill their time. They're sitting time on tractors, they're spraying things, they're tilling soil. They're not billing that to their bottom line. And so they're basically volunteers to their organisation. So when you're spending less hours on a tractor, you're already winning. Less inputs via, bags of chemicals and tubs and then you get some drone stuff spraying out whatever, biological activators you need. It's kind of a cool little system. I think this is going to get the younger generation revved up about the amount of tech that is in ag these days as well.
And how accessible it is. We've actually had we've had over 10,000 school students through
Amazing.
The show, which has been fantastic. And our other exhibitors here, XAG, with their drone technology, but also their manless vehicles.
Yep.
Now, that industry is really thriving, unfortunately, because we don't have a workforce at the moment. So we've had to pivot and adapt in regards to maintaining the output of our agriculture. But what's great is that this is encouraging sustainable practices because none of those vehicles are using fossil fuels or carbon. I mean, they still have to charge their batteries. I'm not sugarcoating that fact. However, it's really reducing the output of the use of petrol for our devices.
But I think also from the planting schedules will change in the future. We talk about biodiversity on farms. The reason why everything's planted in straight lines is so tractors can go through it. When we've got autonomous vehicles or, drone technology spraying, you could literally have mixed produce in a field and that GPS location of, it could literally go here and spray one thing, go back to base, change chemical, or input, go to this area, spray another one. You can now start doing food forest on farms and get machines to pick the fruit at the right profile, the right ripeness, and basically airlift that back to base.
Well, considering, what your focus is, I've actually been speaking with a First Nations Indigenous elder, and since this automated equipment, what they've now done is that in the middle of the orchard, so in this case, he was a grape grower.
Yeah.
So no longer due to technology does he need big cumbersome tractors to go up and down. So he's reached out to an Aboriginal elder who's actually planting weeping grass is what it's called in between his orchards. Now, weeping grass really enriches the soil. It's quite similar to hemp. has a high carbon sequestration rate as well.
Ooh.
But the best thing about this grass as well for a farmer, talk about diversifying your portfolio, is that they can actually then harvest the grain from that native Australian crop and sell for hundreds of dollars on the market. So he's diversifying his portfolio through his grapes, through the Weeping Grace grain harvest, but also, more importantly, let's go back to it, enriching his soil.
Yeah, amazing. And I'm sure there are bugs and other critters coming onto that plant because it's there that is cross-pollinating, doing other magical stuff below and above the ground.
Absolutely.
The biodiversity of all the insects and bugs, the spiders, the birds, all that really matters. And I, love when farmers can start, innovating and tinker with the way that their cropping rows are and putting different things and integrating different growing patterns. I think it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And so we're here in the Royal Show. How important is this at the Royal Easter Show for people to come in and, meet all the providers that are here?
Yeah, well, the traditional kind of catchphrase of the Royal Easter Show is bringing the city to the country.
Yeah.
And it still is. And that's one thing at the Royal Agriculture Society in New South Wales we'll always commit to at the Easter Show. I've got a young English girl on my team who's out here travelling. She's amazing. But she said it is the first time she's actually seen metropolitan Sydney people mix due to the vast size of our country with a high amount of people from the country in one place. So that's really important. But I think for the future of agriculture, especially in Australia, it's critical because the recent statistic that came out is that 42% of jobs now in agriculture are not on farm. A lot of them are with ag tech, agribusiness, bio research. So we really need to get out of that. And I can say it, the stereotype that to be involved in agriculture, you have to be a white, middle-aged Anglo-Saxon. It's not the case. And we're seeing the workforce change. We're seeing the gender be 50-50. We're seeing many other different cultures and experiences coming in. And that can only benefit agriculture. We're already seeing it as we speak through our education programs as well.
Yeah, amazing. Keep up the great work. I think it's awesome. You play a big part in pulling all this together, and I think it's been so great to be able to come and join here on the Happy Soil stand and get to meet all the amazing people that, you've basically curated to put such like-minded people under one roof, which is so exciting to hang out with the right tribe.
The 900, so it's the biggest ticketed event in Australia.
Yeah, I can believe
so to have 950,000 come through and actually hear the right message. And when I spoke to Andrew from Happy Soils, I said in the pavilion, I want to have a message of hope.
Yeah.
And that's why it's been a pleasure to work with Andrew and Anna, because they have literally provided a message of hope. When those faces drop about how powerful Happy Soils fertiliser is, that their future is actually in a good, sustainable hands, we have solutions. That message of hope is so important for our youth. And I'm committed to it. I won't stop until every young child in Australia really knows the truth about how agriculture can help that message of hope, but also for a sustainable future as well.
Yeah, you and me both. My mission statement every morning is to, get 8.1 billion people, which is roughly what we've got on this planet now, understanding the power of soil and what's beneath our feet, because it's, it starts with the soil, we end in the soil, and it's
absolutely
let's have a good life above the soil in the process.
From dust to us.
Yes,
dust to dust is very famous, and obviously that's how we started, and that's how we end.
Yeah.
But it just shows our connection to the soil.
Yeah.
And that soil is us. And as soon as we get that correlation in our youth, that'll really focus and invigorate them to protect our beloved soil.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Duncan, for joining us and having a yarn. Royal Agriculture Society of New South Wales, keep up the great work. Can't wait to see all the opportunities that unfold from this amazing event.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Soil lovers, today, as I mentioned before, we're going to be talking about an amazing product using hemp. The desk we're on, all the wooden stuff you can see behind me, the chairs we're sitting on is all made from hemp, which is super exciting. Dudley from HexCore, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So this product has been very well received, as I've seen yesterday and throughout the week. Everyone's really interested. Can you share a little bit about what the product's about, how you make it, and why now?
Certainly. The most exciting part about hemp is its sustainability. From planting a crop of hemp to supplying you with your table, your house, your pallet, whatever product we are manufacturing, is as little as 100 days. You mentioned earlier everything surrounding us is wood. It's not wood, it's hemp.
Sure.
Because we are replacing timber. So as a replacement industry, the timber would take at least 18 years to become harvestable, and then the quality is questionable, and that's on a softwood, something like pine. If we went to a hardwood, 50 plus years. So hemp is just the answer to so many issues based on its sustainability.
Yeah, I love that. And it's very fire resistant as well, from what I understand.
It is. The hemp plant is naturally fire resistant. Nothing is totally fireproof. Possible to burn, anything can burn, but hemp is very naturally fire resistant. But with the way we bind it and put in some not nasty additives, my partner Brett is an organic chemist and has identified products that we could add to it that can only enhance and not in any way impact negatively either the product or the people using the product, and with that we get extreme fire durability, fire resilience, fire resistance.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I want to say, like, it's kind of cool that I called it wood and you pulled me up on it, and we use words that it's not fireproof because it's not that. So this has gone through a lot of testing, there's a lot of research and development. Do you think we're at the tipping point where hemp is now ready? Because there's a lot of other byproducts from hemp as well, like the oil.
Yes.
And
I think we are. I think the tipping point is, we're right on the tipping point. What is ironic is that this is a back to the future scenario.
Yeah.
Mankind has been using hemp in all forms for millennia, whether it's for clothing, for rope, for sails, for the ships, back to the ancients. 200 years ago, the fleet that brought people to Australia, to America, were driven by hemp sails.
Yeah.
So it was the oil of the day. So that we are going back to it is ironic. But the beauty of hemp, in addition to being so sustainable, there are different varieties. Every part of the plant is usable. The variety we use, Cannabis sativa 7, is very low in THC, so there's no happy about it at all, being silly. But it is very strong, grows to about 6 meters in 3 months. And once we get the stalk harvested, we want to use it immediately. We don't want it retted, which is a term, I think it's a Danish term called rotting, to help separate the woody part from the plant and the bark, the outer fibrous part. We use both parts, but we need them well separated.
Yeah.
And by not retting, the plant retains its strength. By allowing it to ret in the field for up to 2 months, it loses its strength.
Yeah. The fact that it can grow in 100 days to a, yieldable area, from my background with soil and what I understand with farmers, it puts a lot of nutrients back into the soils as well. It's a really good, resting period, cover crop, plant during cycles of their
It is indeed, that's quite right. The hemp, despite its relatively short growth cycle, has got a root system that goes down 2+ meters.
Wow.
That stays in the soil when the hemp is harvested, and that feeds the soil.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, hemp can also take out of the soil heavy metals, toxins, so you can clean up a contaminated site. I'm not going to say that you can clean it up to the point of food cropping on that site, but that's possibly where, I'm not a biologist, I can't make that definitive statement, but I'm led to believe that yes, that is something that could be possible.
Yeah, so we grow this crop in a season, when you're off season, you've yielded it, it's got this amazing properties, we turn it into produce and, is it edible as well? Like, can it go
Absolutely.
into food products?
Different varieties of hemp are certainly edible, they're medicinal, but as I said, different varieties. The same way as we have different breeds of dog. I suppose is an analogy, they're all dogs, but so we use this industrial hemp, but if you were going for a food product or a medicinal it would be a different hemp strain. We certainly also are interested in using the hemp oil as our binding system. So our binding system is an epoxy-based system, and we know that epoxy can be made completely from hemp oil. We're not quite at that level personally. It has been done, but we need to set up our business to add that as a division, making our own epoxies.
Yeah, I love that you know, all parts of the plant can be used and put into production in some way, even if it's in your plant or into like production plant or into other businesses as a byproduct. What is the bottleneck in the industry at the moment? Is it regulation? Is it manufacturing? Is it demand?
It's all of the above. Manufacturing, a fairly simple crop to grow, but to give it to us as we require it, there's a process called decortication. It's separating the woody part, which we call hurd, spelled H-U-R-D, and fiber. The decortication process for an individual farmer can be very costly. So if there was a co-op, a hub in Gippsland, for example, that farmers could all bring their product to decorticate, that would overcome a barrier. In addition to that, there is a regulatory barrier. Without question, hemp has got the bad press from marijuana. And without going down that whole track, until governments acknowledge that 0.3% THC in industrial hemp versus 8 to 10% in medicinal or recreational, two different worlds completely. What we have found in the last few days at this show is once the public grasp what we're doing, the acceptance by them is, wow, why haven't we done this before? Why are the regulations anti? Why are governments holding back? I got a newspaper article this morning that the Victorian government is going to give a grant of $75 million to a logging, to a forestry business, because we need housing. Those forests are going to take 18 years, provided they survive droughts and bushfires, and whereas we could make how many houses in that time from hemp? 100 days.
You literally watch your house grow.
Exactly.
Make an order, plant the crop, watch it grow, watch it get processed. And what an amazing concept. I always scratch my head as well, the more I've learned about it, you know, leading up till today, because I've been hearing a lot about hemp and the benefits around it. It just puzzles me that we've snoozed on this for so long. There's been a recent test, the bushfire testing simulator. Can you speak a little bit about
that? Yesterday, we had been asked to partake in a CSIRO test, where a steel structure about the size of a 40-foot container was clad externally with our product, top, bottom, floor, the whole lot. It was then taken to Mogo in southern New South Wales, which is an international bushfire simulation test site. And it was subject to the test. And the reports I'm getting back is it was one of the first and only times that a test has been totally successful. We passed all aspects, including, and most importantly, I guess, the fact that it was consistent. They've tested other products in the past that gave a degree of protection, but areas of the structure burned, other areas didn't. So it couldn't really be taken up because of the inconsistency. Whereas ours was consistently, and with hemp and with our product, when the source of the flame is removed, so the bushfire has passed, the structure isn't ignited and continues to burn, it just dies. So it is incredible. The results were quite amazing.
I saw Joost posting up live from the test site. It was really exciting. I know he's been a big advocate of all materials as a sustainable with his projects, and seeing the videos come back, and it almost seemed like there was no effect to it because it was painted black for the test site, and then when it finished, it was still black, but it wasn't you know, smoking. It wasn't like glowing in embers.
It was still black, but it was still habitable.
And the inside temperature was really low as well.
The outside wall temperature, the results I've seen, and it wasn't the full duration, but sort of at the peak of the fire, was around, the external wall temperature was over 1,000 degrees, and the internal wall temperature was 31 degrees.
Amazing.
And that's in a space of our product that we clad it with was 22 millimeters thick.
Sounds like a wonder crop, a wonder product, and I can't wait to see it, you know, become more adapted and adopted and used. What's the time frame you see on this? 10 years, 5 years, 15
No,
years?
we are right on the cusp ourselves as a company.
Yep.
We have investors, we have interest in orders, people wanting to place orders on us for, first and most exciting is for 1 million shipping pallets,
Yeah.
which we can make, no timber, no nails. We can have it trackable with RFID chips.
Amazing.
It can be a return to base pallet, it can be a one-way pallet. So that is very exciting. Our housing component that we are very, very keen to get going, we like to think that we will have our certifications, structural approvals, etc., within the next 3, maximum 6 months. I want to be selling our product in latest January next year into the building trade. We've had huge architectural firms come to us and say, we want to understand this, understand what you make, so that our architects can design with this product in mind.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, keep up the great work. Soil lovers, go research hemp. Maybe it's another product you can grow on your farm. Maybe it's, asking better questions to your providers. Do you, provide materials with hemp? Much better sustainable product. I just think it's the way that we're going to build in the future, and I'm saddened that it wasn't the way we built in the past.
Quite right. And on a last point on that, if you're a farmer, it's used very commonly as a rotational crop.
Yeah.
To the point that the sugarcane industry are now talking to us about, can we use hemp in between sugarcane crops?
Yeah.
Will it improve the soil? Will it do? And the answers to all of the above is yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, chop and drop, run cattle through it, everything. It's just all a very magical, good way planting. It doesn't matter which side of the spectrum you're on. It's very ticking a lot of the boxes, and I can't wait for it to become more mainstream.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Dudley. Soil lovers, go check out the website. As always, links will be around the video or the bio of the podcast. Go and check it out. Subscribe to their list and follow what HexCore is all about. Thank you, Dudley.
Thanks very much.
Well, soil lovers, that's enough secrets for one episode. I really hope that you enjoyed all the secrets shared during this conversation. But hey, let's not keep it a secret. Please share this podcast around and make sure that you like it and leave us a review, because that really helps spread the secrets of the soil. Until next time, remember, get outside, get your hands dirty, and keep digging deeper into your soils.